Well, we're back at it.
We're back at it again. Summer of constant weather change. We've got rain, extreme heat, a little bit of rain, extreme heat again.
Yeah, it's really bad for perspiration.
Yeah, and tons of soccer.
Yeah, a lot of soccer going on. World Cup. It's been actually I've learned a few
You into
things.
that?
Well,
Soccer?
I wasn't really one that followed soccer, but you
Yeah.
kind of have to in this environment. It was
Yeah.
good that Canada made it in to a couple games.
Not too shabby.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. And stock market's been cooperating.
It's been helpful. Certainly
Yeah.
helpful. Good
Yeah.
things. People are euphoric. It's like
Yes.
it's not going to end.
Yeah. No, it's not going to end this one, but we'll take the ride while we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you have to. You kind of have to plan and plan ahead. And
Yeah.
kind of the summer of this, the soccer is kind of alluded to team sports, and I think it's probably a good segue into how we ended up here today. We've got a really interesting guest. Speaking of really solid teams and teamwork, we've got someone I'd like to introduce to you, but it's going to be a great podcast ahead.
It's like an origin story.
I think so.
It's almost like a Marvel story that we're about to enter into here. It's incredible.
Well, it's kind of interesting too because we've been doing this long enough, you and I. It's like we believe in something. You think if you do it right, this is what it's going to look like, and the kind of people you're going to end up with on your team. And then here we are today. We're going to be doing a podcast interview with them, and that's a direct result of what we believe in, the values, where we're going, and then of course allowing someone else to be able to be really, really successful in their own right.
Yes. And on that note, Casselman, Ontario, Paskal Cormier. He's bilingual wealth advisor and the newest member of the Ecivda Financial Advisory team. After beginning his career in an advisor support role with a local firm, Paskal began advising clients in 2019 and has accumulated a breadth of experience since that time. He works closely with young professionals and families to help them build practical, long-term financial plans that fit their lives and goals. Paskal values real relationships with his clients and takes pride in being part of their success. When he's not working, he enjoys hockey, a little bit of Formula One, spending time with family and friends. He's a long-term member of Advocates and the Financial Advisors Association of Canada. Paskal, welcome to the show,
Welcome.
baby.
Thanks,
Welcome.
guys. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on, Pascal. It's a real pleasure. You've been a big part of our culture and who we are in the past, and it's nice we can sit here today and kind of talk through how you got here, a little bit about your past and some challenges and where you're going.
Absolutely. It feels like we were just saying earlier, it's only been since November that I joined the firm, but it already feels like forever. So I'm glad to be part of the team.
We're happy to have you, and you've been a really great addition, and it's nice to get some ute in some of the seats in the room. So us gray hairs, as we age, we have to kind of equal things out. So we're really happy and impressed with what you've done to date so far. It's been a great ride, and we're happy to have you on the show today.
Well, thanks for that. I'm happy to be part of the team.
Love to kind of rewind things a little bit, Pascal. Like, how did you get into financial services? Like, let's talk about that a little bit. Where'd you come from? Let's talk about your past a little bit and just how you ended up in this role.
Yeah, for sure. Funny enough, growing up, I always disliked math, so I never thought I'd actually end up doing what I do today, and kind of had no clear vision of where or what I wanted to do growing up. And it's while I was in school, I started working out for this local advisor in Casselman, and on the admin side. And once I saw what he was doing for his clients and how he was helping clients in their day-to-day lives with their finances, I got instantly hooked. Like I saw the power of working with an advisor that cares and how like that can change your life for the better. And I just knew I had to do it also,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you just out of happen chance, you just ended up as an admin role, just looking for a job. There was no real direction there. You just happened to say, I'm going to take this role, give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. So I was still in school and I was just trying to figure out life like a lot of people.
Sure.
And I remember particularly when I was prepping one of his client meetings, I was going back through like their investments from like the past 20 years they'd had worked with this guy. And you know, normal people making $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year. But because they were always investing regularly, listen to the advice, they were actually able to retire at 50 as like millionaires. And I just looked at that graph and I was like, this is real. Like, we can make this happen. You don't need to work crazy amounts of hours, or you don't need to have a lot of money to be in a good financial position. And that just spoke to me. And I knew if I could do the same for others and put them in their ideal financial situations, that was my calling, essentially.
Amazing. So I'll stop there for a second because I think a lot of people think that you need to make like unreasonable amounts of returns. So you need to make 15% returns or invest in Bitcoin or whatever. How important do you think it is just investing regularly or saving as opposed to being a genius investor?
Yeah, it's all about the long-term game for me, because it's easy on the short term to look for that lottery ticket or what's the next brand new shiny thing. You might get lucky, and you know, it might pop off, but at the end of the day, I don't want my strategies to rely on luck. So what we can do consistently compounds really quick, right? Big fan of anything that compounds for the better, really. So we want to use the same strategy with investments. It's not chasing returns. It's not you know, trying to find the best new thing all the time. It's, you know, taking a step back every quarter like we do, or every year, and say like, hey, where's the market going? Are we still heading the right direction? We're going to consistently contribute and invest in whatever we want to invest at that time, and keep doing so regularly. So I think that's where the real power lies, and like where you can get like the biggest the biggest changes in your life. Yeah.
Well, that rule of 72, right? Like people lose sight of that, right? People, oh, I made a really big return this year. You know, oh, I only made, 7 or 8% this year. It's like, well, if you continue at an 8% rate of return, you're doubling your money in less than 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's an incredible thing, right? And so I think, to your point, people really lose sight of that. And for the people that are chasing stock positions or something speculative, like, maybe play a little bit, but you really don't need to put all your eggs in the one basket, right? Like the diversification and being steady and the perseverance of being disciplined and staying with something is the key.
Absolutely. There's no like secret sauce or magic formula. Like, we've been doing this for like years and years and years. And, you know, this is not necessarily a new profession, and it's not rocket science in a sense either. We just know what works. We apply it. And I think our job, like as advisors, is just to hold like people's emotions through those times, right? One of the things I tell clients to do, like one of the best things they can do really, is like not even look at their statement. Let's say you're putting money towards retirement, you got 20 years to retirement, and you look at your statements every month, you're just going to make yourself sick, right? Because it's going to go up, it's going to go down. It kind of doesn't matter in a sense what it's doing on the short term, as long as you know you have a trusted advisor in your corner, who's looking out for you. Like, that's all you need to know in a sense. So yeah, especially in today's world, like everything's so fast. We want everything like today, right now. Definitely not the
Instagram, right? Everybody wants a big shiny thing, like you said.
Exactly. So yeah, this doesn't work like that. And if you can put your head down for like 10 years or so, like you can like change your life massively by just paying yourself first, automate your savings. Like, that's huge. You don't even realize you're investing, and next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, I have X amount of money put up and the market did this. And like, that's super powerful.
Clearly a passionate guy. I can sense that, and like you love people and you want to help. Where does that service come from? Who was a big influence for you?
So I'll shout out my first mentor, Mario Gallipo. I've worked closely with him for 6 years or so. And basically, that's what used to drive him. Do right by the client. Like, I actually care about the clients.
Right.
For me, if the client's not better off or winning, then I'm not winning. Like, every relationship I have, even personally, I would say, is if you're not winning, then I'm not winning. I want the best for everyone in a sense. So my number one focus is pretty much client service, like do right by the client. And then we'll bring in the experts when we need to. But at the end of the day, just genuinely care about people. Super passionate guy, super close to my family and friends, and my clients. So
He's French, right? So there's got to be some
he's-
deep-rooted passion there for
yes.
sure, right? It's
Yeah, pretty good hockey player. I've actually
Yeah,
played on the ice with him, and
heard
he's
that,
a
yeah.
very passionate man. Like I a lot of respect for Mario.
yeah. So no, it's what I've learned, and it's what I love to do. Also, I feel if I wouldn't have any passion for what I do, I would not be doing this. That's for sure. So.
Wow. So what was originally before you got into finance? What was the trajectory? Where did you think you were going to end up?
I honestly had no clue. So after high school, I was just kind of trying different programs through college, university.
Yeah.
I was a lot in the social studies, psychology, sociology, things like that. People interest me. I really like people. I really like how they think, how they work, how they understand. So that was always like just a general area of interest for me. I've made some good friends along the way. I've had some good experiences. I lived in Moncton for a year.
Nice.
That was fun to live on the East Coast as well. But it wasn't until I started working on the admin side for Mario that I kind of really knew where I was going. So I was just kind of.
Did you set him up for the East Coast thing? So this is like, I swear, everyone has an East Coast connection.
yeah, there's something in our office. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike also come from the East Coast.
yeah.
And part of my family is also from the East Coast.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, part of my family is Acadian. That's where the Cormier last name comes from.
Oh, nice. Proud Acadians.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about how we ended up crossing paths. Like, how did we're very fortunate to have you as amongst our team, but just for the listeners and the viewers, let's talk a little bit about how we ended up meeting each other and how you ended up becoming part of our team.
Yeah, for sure. I can't say exactly when we met for the first time, but back in the day when it was the Freedom Days, I've always heard about, Sean Todd, Corey Butler. These guys are like the superstar producers, and, they got the big numbers. And you guys were kind of like, always ahead of the industry in a sense. So you'd always like hear about you guys, in our world, which I thought was super interesting. Like, you want to pay attention to winners and where, what people are doing right to be in those situations. So yeah, I can't exactly remember when we met first, but it was some of those events, and mostly through Mike, because again, Mike was a director at Freedom, and he just had something about him that I'm like, I want to work with this guy. He's got such a good
Passionate
energy.
like you, right?
He's passionate. He's positive, and yeah, when I met you guys for the first time as a team, I understood why. I'm like, okay, this whole team is like that.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. Like I've tried to describe this before. It's like we're looking for the right people in the right seats. Not everyone's always going to be a great fit for us, but finding that right person, it's exceptional for us because we can leverage each other, work collaboratively, and kind of like an ensemble practice. So that's been really important to us. So adding you has been excellent. Like Corey said, you bring some of that youth and enthusiasm and passion with you. But it also, I think I really enjoy that whole mentoring process. So just like you, our mentor, I have Brian as my stepfather, so he's a big mentor to me. And he's just the kind of person that always wants to give back. So it's nice to be able to have people like yourself come in. Corey and I can spend some time, teaching, sharing about our experiences. Like we've got a few experiences along the way there. It's good and bad.
Good and bad. I was gonna say it's you had working with family is not always the easiest thing to do, right? And so I think in our new world, right, like we don't have any of our children working with us at this point or anything, but to have a young successful man come to join the team and has the desire to learn, and we're not perfect, we're going to make mistakes, and we generally own it most fucking days anyways.
Yeah.
But
getting better at it.
We're getting better. But having someone that is receptive, having someone that understands that they don't need to reinvent the wheel. These guys are doing something that's working. This is a good recipe. I can get on board with that. And as a shout out to you, Pascal. Like you've done a really great job of embracing, right? Like when you first came in, it was kind of ad hoc. It was kind of, I'm not, and so I've noticed a shift, right? I've noticed even the shift of talking about goal setting and where we're, just creating a path for your year ahead and what you want that to look like. It's working.
Mm-hmm.
We see it in your numbers, right? Like so good on you
Mm-hmm.
to pay attention, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's also, we're all in this business, in this world. We all are A-type personalities and we all have big heads,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's, and so to be able to, take something from someone that's coaching you and apply it and get results, like that's winning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't agree more. And like, really, I'm gonna throw you guys some flowers here because you've done like such a fantastic job at not only mentoring but like the full client experience as well. Like, you guys have always been forward thinking and ahead of the industry in a lot of ways. And ever since I came into the practice, it was shortly after I came in, like, you didn't get the Quadras like best client experience award for nothing. Like, that shows like a lot of work, a lot of devotion, and a lot of you care about the clients, and you're proactive instead of reactive. And then I think that speaks a lot of volume, and that's why Ecivda and all of us as advisors and our clients are where we are today, and we know where we're going also because of that. So ever since I've joined, like, you guys have done a really good job of just kind of let me do what I do. Like, you didn't try to put me in a box or anything, because obviously I'm doing something that works.
Right.
And yeah, no, I've been learning a lot, and yeah, numbers don't lie at the end of the day, right?
It's fantastic. And then do you feel like that, and I appreciate those nice words, that means a lot to us because we do spend a lot of time in that space. Like there's a lot of skill sets that we've had to add. And then just like yourself, in your growing practice, like 20 years ago, a really successful financial advisor or planner, you just had to be kind of a mover and shaker, talk to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and you could be successful.
Yeah.
Now it's not just that. You need to be good at marketing development, business development, video. Here we are on a podcast doing podcasting, video and communication strategies. Like it isn't AI,
Mm-hmm.
constant state of change. So you have to become very skillful at a lot of different things to be very successful in today's market. So how do you feel like some of the stuff you just talked about, how is that translating for your client experience? Like are you getting some good, feedback from your own clients?
Yeah, for sure. And again, that ties in with like, the forward thinking experience and strategy we all have. I think clients like that it's flexible, that we're more accessible in a sense too. And I think it makes us quicker to respond to clients and more available, which at the end ties into the client experience. And that's why we're so good at it in that sense. So no, video is definitely a big part of the industry, and I think it's gonna keep being a big part of the industry for many years to come. More people are like the flexibility of working from home, whatnot, and just knowing that they can also stick with the same advisor for a long time if somebody moves or something happens. I think that's good for everyone.
We're extremely lucky too. Like we have a great team of people in behind the scenes that don't, they're the ones that are in the front lines. They're in the trenches with the clients. They probably get to know the clients at a really deep level in addition to the advisor. And they don't get all that glory, right? They don't get to do the podcast, and they don't get to do, like, that's not, we all have different lanes. So those operations staff and the key members at the office, like it's integral, and they do great work for us. And we're really, really, really lucky.
Absolutely. I don't think we would be where we are if it wasn't for them, right?
Well, it started on the admin side, right? So
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. And I think it's what people that look at this type of profession or realtors, or they have a perceived perception of what's going on, and life looks really easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I always say that our world is like an iceberg,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're only seeing 10%. The other stuff that goes on underwater, most can't even handle the pressure and what goes on there, right? And it's, and I see it with you, Pascal, is you are following up, right? Like it's you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you can't follow up when somebody says reach out in a week or follow up in 6 months, or it's that makes an advisor successful, right?
Absolutely.
If you have systems and process in place and branding in place, the next step is your follow-up, right? And I've said it for a very long time. You have to follow up with people until they tell you to beat it. Right?
They say 7 no's, right? Isn't that what it's 7 no's before you get a yes?
Yeah, I know. So it's, or you got to touch somebody 21 times before they actually execute, right? And I think that in this day and age, because you have people, there's a paralysis of completing tasks.
Yeah.
There's a complete paralysis of responding to emails, or right. And so we're in this world now where you're just bombarded to the point of task paralysis. It's shocking and it doesn't matter where, what, or who you are. It's this ongoing theme that we're seeing again and again. And, people would always say, well, I don't want to bug Johnny, or, I already reached out to him last week. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Keep going, right? Like go until it's executed on, right? Like, and I think that's something that gets lost in translation for a lot, but you're getting it.
Yeah. Sometimes I guess I can come across as pretty straightforward, but most of the time I don't see the advantage or the benefit of waiting to do something. So when I sit with clients and I say like, okay, this is kind of the plan, this is what we're going to do, when it comes time to execute, I don't mess around. Like, we're either doing this or we're not. Do you want this? Yes or no? There's no reason to wait. There's only disadvantages, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and if the client, if they don't move forward, it's either because A, they don't want to, and if they don't want to, I don't want to next, or they don't understand properly what we're doing. So hey, it's okay. Let's take a step back, make sure we understand, make sure we're all on the same page. If it doesn't make sense for everybody, then we're not moving forward. But as soon as it does make sense for everybody, like, why wait?
Yeah. You're basically a coach, right? Like, we talked about this before. Is like, you're a financial coach.
Yeah.
And just it's like, hey, we're at the gym. Got to make you lift that. Get going.
No, exactly. So my approach is, I'm definitely not like the most like nerdy with numbers, or like big into like super in-depth like trust planning or anything like that. My approach is more like a coaching approach. Like, hey, I find it's kind of astonishing the amount of people who just have never took the time to sit down and look at their finances and have no clue where they're going financially and how that's really directing their lives, and they're not even aware of it. So it's just, take the time, make the client understands like where they're going, where do you want to go. And I really like the approach of like, hey, let's go there together. If you don't succeed, I don't succeed. Like, that's what drives my passion, and that's what gets me going in the morning, right?
So what's that like when you see that? Because you probably you've had lots of time in the business. So what would be a good example you give us where you've seen someone struggling and just not getting it, not knowing, kind of being lost, and then you're providing advice on saying, hey, let me help you?
Yeah, for sure. So funny you say that. I was just talking to one of my good friends yesterday, and I was telling him we were doing this today. And this guy's super smart. He's like a professional engineer, travels the world. He does like a lot of stuff I don't understand. And as smart as he is, he again was never taught growing up like the importance of like having a budget. Where's your money going? Like, how do investments work? Like, none of that was like mentioned to him. So whenever I started my career, he actually said like, yeah, like give me a hand. And we've been working together for 5 years or so. And, he had great resources, a lot of knowledge, like a really smart guy, but he had no one to just take the time and sit down and explain to him like, hey, where do you want to go? What's possible? And yeah, since the 5 years, like we doubled in his investments in 5 years. Like, wow. This was someone who like is a great example, who listens to advice, takes the time to sit down and cares about where he's going. Like he's intentional about what he's going, and he's also able to execute. And yeah, we've like had many meetings where we didn't do anything because he didn't fully understand a concept or why we were doing this. But you know, if it takes 2 or 3 times, that's fine. I want every client to understand what we're doing, and only when it makes sense to them, then we move forward. So that's yeah, doubling your money in 5 years is no small
Amazing.
feat.
Yeah,
And because of that, he was able to like have the wedding of his dreams, the job of his dreams, go back to school to get another designation, and put his family essentially in like a ideal financial spot for them, which is, you know, that's what get me going in the morning.
Well, you had talked, earlier about, finances and people learning. And I'd like you to give a course on running a credit card. And my wife could be the first person in your class for sure. But it is like the discipline, like I always say to people, if you play a sport, if there's something where you have to practice, where you have to be consistent, and sometimes you're going to suck, but you still have to keep grinding, right? It's like, okay, I want to lose weight. Okay, I'm going to start walking around the block. Okay, I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk 4 or 5 times a week. Did you get to your 4 or 5 times? Did you only get one? Like, get back on the horse, keep going, right? And that's where the success happens. It's not in the Wolf of Wall Street, buy a penny stock and it goes from a penny to $1,000 bucks. Sure, we all want that, but the reality is something much different, right? Like, boring is good in this world.
I think sometimes a message gets lost too. I think people, of course, the papers and the magazines, they're always wanting to have like big headlines to attract more readers. So they'll often focus in on things like advisors or planners, like the fees and the sensitivity. And so it almost makes, it kind of pushes people to think, well, I can do this on my own because I really shouldn't be having somebody help. And it's really counterintuitive. It actually hurts them more. And in a lot of cases, like there is a lot of people who can do it themselves. So I'm not going to take it away from them. But a lot of people, just like the person you were describing, they get lost. They need direction. They need coaching. They need help. They need some kind of, framework to what they should be doing. And if they don't have it, you could spend 10, 15, 20 years just moving your feet and really not getting any farther ahead. That's what I see a lot.
I couldn't agree more. And like, I think just a big part of our role really is just to kind of like, hold the client's hand and like tell them like, hey, it's okay. Like, we're sticking to this plan. And, like it's that comfort of knowing like our plans work, like we're good at what we do. And, when you're alone, it's easier to say like, oh, like today I don't feel like it, or this time I want to invest this bonus or this, tax credit or whatever it might be. But when you're working with someone also, it's kind of another reason why I joined the firm. Winning as a team is just different. I'm a big team sports guy. Sometimes I have bad days. I see, you popping off on YouTube or whatever it is. Like we share those wins. I think that's super important so that when you have a couple losses or worse days, you can feed off that energy, feed off the momentum as a team. I think that goes a long way.
I couldn't agree more. Actually, Corey, like we tease each other relentlessly. So it's and I do like that firm approach. But there's a lot of times throughout the last 10 or 15 years where I'm getting little texts in the middle of the night. And he's like, when are you gonna start working? Like, really? And I'm like, oh really?
Yeah.
Oh really? Okay. So then it's like I'm grinding out there, and then you have a big case file you close, and then I text Corey, and then he's like, okay, and we just like back and forth, a little bit of pushing, a little bit of needling each other. But I think I like your analogy, like that that team. That team environment, it really does kind of push you to be your best. Because we all win together, and it's exciting. Like when you see someone like yourself having great success, like that to me feels very rewarding.
Well, like one thing I'd say, in terms of, with a team-based effort is, I'll use a real example that just happened actually on the golf course the other day. Sean and I were having a little match, and And so I hit a great drive. Sean did not hit a great drive.
Not good at all.
He didn't really hit a decent second, but was still in play. And so I got my ball on in reg, and which
On and two.
on and
Beautiful
two, had really long first putt, and it should have just been a simple par, 4 type of thing. Well, Captain Asshole here from 60 yards out puts the ball probably an inch from the pin, and he's got a knock-in par. And so I got to scramble. I fly my birdie putt past. I miss my par putt. He knows I've missed my par putt. Okay, so this is important for the listeners, right? This is a par 4. He's made his par. I've missed my par. He knows that. And Captain Asshole sits down in the cart beside me. What'd you get for a score? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and this is the type of teamwork we're dealing with here, So no, but it's all great, and I love the competitiveness that we have within the firm and the desire to push, and it's these little fun things that we get to do and banter and stuff, which makes it all that much better. And so it's
so good.
wonderful having a team of people that are on the same page and trying to go in the same direction, right? And nobody's here to outdo one or the other most of the time, but we have a common goal together, and we really do. And it's not just bullshit, like it's real, like it's we feel it, we see it. When the firm does better, everybody does better. And it didn't happen overnight, and we didn't become successful overnight. And anybody that does, they will be unsuccessful faster, right? Yeah. And so it's that grind of and that persistence of being disciplined to keep pushing yourself every day, every week, right? And we are, like I've said it a couple times today, we see that in you, right? And so good on you, and keep it up, right?
Corey's the one that taught me that move. Like he said, like when you have a bad hole, you just stay in it. So here I am after 2 bad shots. He said, like, you got to just keep on trucking, and I did. And so that's a funny analogy, but it's true, and it's like our business, right? It's like we've gotten to a place because of we've had some really amazing days, but we've also had some really hard, difficult moments. Like Corey and I have been at this for a long time. I started founding the company with my stepdad, Brian, like 20-some years ago. And when Corey and I took the leadership roles moving forward, it was right in the middle of COVID. So in this massive...
How's timing?
Yeah, amazing timing. Like the biggest unknown ever. Yeah. Your
world is ending.
You're basically doubling down on what the future might look like because you're making a massive financial obligation. And you're saying to yourself, I believe in this company because I've been here for a long time. We're now going to own this and we're going to go forward. But we're doing it in the craziest time known to man, where they've literally shut down every city and every store. And they've never done this before in the world in any time in history. But it's, you know what? I'm going to tell myself we're going to be okay. So we had to really learn a few things and pivot and learn to stay relevant, to stay successful and grow. But those really difficult moments when you look yourself in the mirror, those are the ones that make you very successful. So to Corey's point, the people I feel like you play hockey. So when you get the crappy road to the finals and you have to grind it out to get there, I take that team any day over the team that gets the bye and plays the 8th place team, and now they're in the finals. Because you're like, oh, the one team had to grind through the 6 pretty difficult opponents to get to that final game, and the other team, well, they didn't really have to work that hard to get there. And it's like, who do you think's going to win the final? Most times.
Yeah.
It's the heart.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that because when I started, 2019, right? Yeah. You're kind of like, starting in the middle of COVID, and the, virtual was brand new at that time, essentially. And you're like starting a business. And you're kind of like, okay, like, is this going to work? Am I going to am I doing this for nothing? But as we were saying earlier, you know, discipline is just sticking to what works and keep doing it consistently, and eventually that compounds pretty quick, like anything else, right?
And you have, but and you know, at the same time, you know, and I think people lose sight when we talk about discipline, when we talk about being consistent, you have to give yourself some grace at times where there's weeks that you're not motivated, or
Yeah.
just you lost a client, or something went wrong in a transaction,
Mhm.
or right. And I think as humans we spend too much time beating the shit out of ourselves internally for errors that we made, and you really just have to, like, okay, we fucked that one up, let's learn from it, let's press reset, let's move forward, right? And I think you have to do that on a regular basis in this, especially in this type of role, right? Like, it's because shit happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the, you know, qualities of like successful people, and like define success how you want, is exactly that. And they don't get stuck on, you know, what happens, you learn from it, you move on. What can I do next? And life goes on, right?
Yeah. You were talking about virtual earlier, so that's a big part now of an advisor's communication. Let's talk a little bit about how it's changed, because even for someone like your mentor, for Mario, like in for my mentor Brian, like that is not what they're used to doing or what they did for a majority of their career.
Well, because you're millennial generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're Gen X, or I think you are. You're right on the cusp.
Oh wow! Like, am I a different generation than you then?
Well, I thought you were a couple years older, so I
Well,
wasn't
not
sure.
boomers confirmed.
Oh
Well, he's
wow!
not. He's
a
not,
boomer.
you know, I
I'm
know
for
I'm
sure.
X, but
I'm an X,
I
I'm
don't
an
know
X.
what he is.
I-
Is he a boomer? Is
Well,
he X? Like, where
Up
is
until
he?
a moment ago, I thought I was the same. I thought I was the same generation. I've never been described as a different generation.
I know. I'm pretty sure you're still X. Like, I'm pretty
Oh
sure you're
man,
in.
I
Like,
can't
it's-
wait to golf with you.
Yeah.
Again. This is great. Yeah. So now I feel like these tools, like I think it's become, well, if an advisor is not doing video now, like even just video education, or the ability to meet a client, they say, hey, I'm busy. Like, again, most of us like to meet in person. It's a great way to communicate and get to know each other. But I still have, since COVID, probably at least half the people are saying, no, they're busy. They're like, hey, can we do a virtual meeting? And that's normal. So it's really made a massive change for how advice is delivered.
Absolutely. Just to give you an example, I was talking with this client a couple days ago, and I'm like, hey, like we were setting up a plan for like an investment plan, and she's kind of like not sure about her cash flow at the last minute before we were going to go ahead and put that plan in place. And I'm like, oh my God, that's totally fine. Let's work on your cash flow. Like, there's something she didn't understand about the plan or wasn't comfortable with. So I'm like, we're not moving forward with anything. I'm like, you know, like, can you do a virtual call in a couple days instead of having to wait a couple weeks? And she's like, actually, yeah, like that's fantastic. So like the amount of work we can get done and like stuff we can accomplish in a shorter period of time is like so flexible and easy that it's like a why not, right? Like, why wait? And yeah, it's just better for a lot of people, especially like younger clients, I would say, from my experience anyways. Yeah, just better for everyone, really.
I don't think people, the average person, they love that experience that someone like yourself delivers. I don't think the average person on the other side who's not in advice field really understands the impact of, like, the fact you're always on. Like, you're going to respond. You've probably responded to clients way after hours.
Yeah.
You've probably responded to clients when you're on vacation. I know I have.
Yeah.
So this is something that the average person, unless they're doing this, doesn't get that, or the impact of that.
Yeah, there's definitely a toll that takes, right? There is impact. Sometimes the hardest challenge in our role is not responding to that on a Saturday, to respect your own time, to respect your own, I need to decompress. I need to have my weekend because the machine just starts Monday again, right? But for us, it's, it doesn't really stop. And so I find that, super challenging. he's been really good to push on, making sure you take your time and whatnot. But I have seen him leaking a little bit, with emails on Saturdays and Sundays, the occasional time, So I know he has the option to press deliver on Monday, but he gives you one of those, right?
I've cheated on myself a few times because I really try, because I'm trying to get better at putting the boundaries up, but it's just, you're trying to also serve so many people, and I know that they're also stressed. Like, you're empathetic, and you're trying to say, you know what, I know this is bugging them. It's a financial thing, and I want to let them know. Like, even if I don't want to get in, before I used to get into it in a longer response or try to solve the issue, maybe on a weekend or late at night. Or I remember doing one time, I was putting the docks in at my friend's cottage, and I stopped to help a client, or I'm at the swim lessons with my daughters, and they're at swimming lessons with the instructor. I'm trying to answer a client's question. I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Everybody else goes to swim lessons with their kids and just checks out. It's okay. Like, give yourself permission.
Yeah.
But I still do the odd time where I'm like, I should stop this. But it's hard.
But it's the
It's really
equivalent.
hard.
It's the equivalent of you're trying to eat healthy and you veer off the path and you eat pizza and a dirty burger or whatever, right? Like, I think that's where that grace has to come in life, right? You have to give yourself some flexibility, and being regimented 100% of the time, 7/24, 365. You're lying. You're lying. It's not real. It's not. There's probably one person on this entire earth that is able to sustain that type of environment, right? And so it is really, really important. And how do you find now, at your age, where you're at, like, how do you find, with all the demands of life and running a practice, like, what are you doing in life to stay remotely disciplined and, on track?
Good question.
That's a great question. I was definitely, more the 24/7 type, answering emails, all that, when I was working alone, previously to working with you guys. And a big shift I've noticed in my practice and for my clients is just like the importance of having the right team behind the scenes. So just knowing that, the support staff is just like the best support staff like we can find, basically.
Superstars.
Like, they're superstars. Just the fact that, like, I know clients are comfortable reaching out to them, and they're like, they care just as much as we do. Like, that's such, like, it alleviates so much stress for me, for the clients, for everyone, right? So I think that's, like, really good and helps me, focus on what really matters, which is, like, the planning. And yeah, I'll shout out my girlfriend, because she's also, like, a big motivator.
Nice.
Big motivator, like, where I want to go, pushing every day. She's a super positive person, super, she's the best in everything. So, like, that really helps as well. So it kind of comes down to say, like, surrounding yourself with the right people is also huge, right?
Sounds like his heart's a little full.
Just dim the lights, sir, if you don't mind.
Whoa. Not
unusual. Let's talk. So obviously, to be that successful in business, and then the success we're talking about now, like, let's talk about what's the values there, because I know just from previous conversations, you're proud of your fitness transformation. So I kind of want, like, that's going to show up in different ways, right? Your personal side, your business side, but what do you hold on to that pushes you, aside from your girlfriend, to be that successful in all these different areas?
Yeah, so just there's something in me. I'm just always trying to be, like, the best version of myself. Like, I want to change and grow, just to be the best version I can be of myself. I think we all, like, owe each other that as people. So yeah, I was a bigger guy before, for sure. And, like, when I took my health seriously, I was able to lose, like, just a little bit over 90 pounds.
Amazing.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you. And it was, it comes down to the same basic concepts as, like, the planning and the coaching we do. Where do I want to be? What do I need to do to get there? You kind of just have to be disciplined, and it freaking sucks at the start. Like, it's like any habit. Like, it freaking sucks.
Yeah.
But, you do it not perfectly, but consistently enough that, 2-3 months have passed, 6 months have passed, and you're kind of looking yourself in the mirror thinking, like, oh my God, I never thought I could be at this place in my life before,
Yeah.
and it's only been 6 months. Imagine what I could achieve. It's, if I do that for the rest of my life, or for 10 years or whatever. So no.
What drove that change? Like, how bad was it for you to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm making a change here?
Yeah, it was actually a golf story. So I was playing golf.
Yeah.
Just I thought I was fine, twisted, back gave out, and I'm like, couldn't walk for like a day or two, and I'm like, holy crap, like this, I've never been in so much pain before. And I kind of like just looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, I was this bigger guy, and I'm like, hey, what the hell am I doing? I can't even use my body to enjoy life and like the day-to-day things. So I'm kind of like, no one else is gonna do it for me. I kind of have to take it into my own hands. What do I want to do with it? Well, I want to be a super fit guy, super athletic, and be able to, enjoy life and do whatever I want with my body. So I got to it, and I got it done.
It's tough though. Like I said, it's like, because day one you make that decision, and then you're like, I'm gonna do, and you do. Maybe day one you come out of the gates hard, you eat right, you go to the gym, and then you're still exactly the same as you were the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the second day, and you still are the second day. And it's really hard because until you get to, is it 90 days? Is it 180 days? And you look back, you go, wow, I can see transformation. I can actually feel different. I look different. I'm sleeping better. My energy level's better, but it takes a while. So that's, for a lot of people, that's where they fall off the tracks a little bit with that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the gym that I go to, they have a board now for how many workouts you've done.
Really, that's good.
They actually track,
Yeah.
when did you get to 150? When did you get to 250? When did you get to 500? And so it is that, like it
Right.
is 100%. And sometimes it's not about actually achieving a goal. It's just staying with movement and being healthy, period, right? Like I played golf with a 77-year-old guy 2 weeks ago in a match.
It's my generation.
Close. He's
Yeah.
very, very, very close to Sean. And I asked him, and he walks all his rounds, you know, so it's almost 10 clicks a round, right? Like it's not, and I asked him, I said, like, what's the secret? And he's playing 3 or 4 times a week, and he plays, almost the whole year, goes to Florida. I said, what's the secret? He goes, I stretch and I walk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all about the movement. And I think, at where we're at, because we sit so much and we look at screens so much, that like this even small movement is like such a big deal and so healthy for you.
Absolutely. And it's all about momentum too, right? Like I love the little park we have behind the office. Like you'll never see me sitting at my computer for 4 hours. I just can't. After like an hour or two, I'm like,
get out.
I'm getting up, I'm going for a walk, I'm going to get a bite, something like that. But the weight loss transformation, and financial goals is like super similar, right?
Oh, totally.
A big thing I realized is that I started getting results when I stopped looking at the goal I was trying to reach and just fell in love with the process to reaching that goal.
Yes.
Exactly. So like you were saying, it's about getting up every day, eating well every day. You give yourself room for error. Nobody's perfect. Okay, I know Saturday's my cheat day. I can do literally what the hell I want. That's fine. So I know I'm like, oh, I gotta eat eggs and chicken breast for 6 months straight. It's like, no, we're not perfect, and you need to give yourself that room and that flexibility to make it sustainable. So just like putting money away and like letting it compound and investing. Okay, well, if you do your cash flow, then you're not putting all your money into investments and no room for fun money. Like you still got to travel, you still got to do things you enjoy, or else what's the point, right?
Reward yourself a little bit.
Exactly. So it's just figuring out like, hey, what percentage of that do you want to allocate to it, and how quick do you want to reach your goal?
And where you're hemorrhaging too, right?
Yeah.
Like there's, I think in this day and age of Instacart and Uber and like, I'm noticing, and I believe in what I read, in your generation, it's like it's a real problem. Like people aren't even realizing, well, I didn't go to the restaurant to get my food. I got it delivered because I didn't feel like going.
Yeah.
Did you know you might be paying almost double? Did you know
Oh, yeah.
there could
Yeah.
be, you know, like if you would have went and picked it up, if you would have made the effort. And so I find, you know, in the subscriptions and deliveries and all these things, like you really got to pay attention, like where you're hemorrhaging money, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, I even did it with my stepson the other day. I'm like, dude, like you ordered 4 pizzas this week. You could have went and picked them up. Like, do you know how much money you're spending? No. And we went and looked it up, and it was double. Like it was double. And
Mhm.
I'm like, do you know you just gave $100 away because you were too lazy to go and get it? Like it's like this is what's happening now in society,
Yeah.
right? Like, when we and I'm gonna show my age right now. There was
Uh-oh.
there was a cartoon show called The Jetsons,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
so
wow. I don't even know what you're talking about.
yeah, you were on it. And so the Jetsons was all about, for those that don't remember, but if for those that do, they basically sat in a robotic chair and they had screens everywhere. Their food was brought to them. They didn't have to go anywhere. They
Mhm.
didn't have to do anything, and everything was automated. And I'm like, holy shit, like it's like there's so many similarities now in with where things are at. And but the only difference is now is like people are like you're hemorrhaging major dollars now,
Mhm.
major, and you're not, you know, you think, oh, I'm saving time or the convenience. What is the cost?
Yeah.
I think people are like super smart, and they're just scared to look at where they're hemorrhaging money, because they know deep down like they're spending money where they're not necessarily where they shouldn't, but like that's not aligned toward their goals.
So are you
Totally.
telling me it's not normal when your wife goes to the mailbox
Oh,
and
boy.
she burns the credit card statement before it comes in the door? Like, is it like that? Like, is it just light the whole
Yeah.
mailbox
There's a big
on fire and it was never
bonfire
there?
in your front lawn.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
well, that's odd. That's weird. I've never
yeah.
seen that before.
Weird burn mark there.
Yeah, that's so true. Like I've been in a Uber going to the airport or something and asking these guys like, what's the smallest thing you've actually delivered for like Uber Eats?
Yeah.
And they're telling me like they've had, someone's ordered like a small Blizzard
Yeah.
gets delivered, and I think the delivery charge is like $10, which is one thing if you're ordering a big huge order of groceries and you have mobility issues or something, but they've delivered. I've heard a pack of cigarettes.
Yep.
I've heard a can of Coke. And I'm just like, I'm blown away, like to Corey's point. Like someone's ordering a can of Coke.
Yeah.
So that can of Coke, that unit cost for that is like whatever they charge.
50 cents for
And then they add the delivery charge and a tip and a surcharge and all this stuff.
Mhm.
it's the same
That's
cost
just-
as a case.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think when you can switch to like the buyer mentality to the pay yourself first mentality, you're kind of not even
Yeah.
bothered and not even
Yeah.
doing any of that stuff, right? And that's kind of like what we're teaching. And
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And then so on this whole fee discussion thing, like this is a big year this year because like with CRM3 coming and obviously instated here, end of this year, start of next year, clients for the first time are going to see all of the fees on their account statement, right? This is a big conversation that we're having. And again, like I think we're really ahead on this. Like most of us have been talking about this for a long time. There's a lot of advisors in the city and across the country who just haven't talked about this at all. So there's going to be a shocker because for the past, 4 or 5 years, we've had an ability to have the client see half of their fees, which is the advice cost. There's 2 costs, the advice cost and the cost of the investments. So the advice cost is what we all do here, how we help and the meetings and the support. And that investment cost is what you're actually investing in and the cost of that. And up until recently, if you did it, then the client would see only the advisor cost, the cost of the advice, not the investment cost. But there are still some people who have had, to this day, don't even have reporting on their statements of their actual cost of that portion. But this coming January, there's going to be full disclosure on both sides of the fence, like both costs, the advice cost and the investment cost. And I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. I'm just wondering how you're kind of aligning your practice, some of the conversations you're having on that.
I think we're lucky in the sense that we're all super upfront, honest, and transparent with what we do. So fees have definitely always been a part of the discussion with clients and what they're paying for. I think it's gonna hit them a little difference once they actually see the amounts, like the dollar amounts they're paying, specifically for clients who never had, a lot of money before. If we charge 1% for managing a portfolio, then it's 1%, 10,000 doesn't seem like that much, but once it's up like to the $1 million, people are like, okay, what am I getting for my money? So, no, I think it's like we've done a great job at it already. I think there's more discussions that are gonna need to be have, and at the same time, I pride myself by not charging any planning fees in a sense, because I always tell the clients like what I'm charging you for your investments is in direct correlation to like what I get paid. So if you're not making money, I'm not making money, and it needs to be a win-win for each other. So I think a lot of clients like that approach also.
Nice. And then you must see like really one solution doesn't fit everybody. So it's almost like I always use the analogy of like cable television. So there's no sense having a subscription where you have 85 channels if you only watch two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you're going to watch 85 channels, there's some good solutions for you. We can get this cost down and get you those 85 channels you want to watch. And there's different solutions in the landscape. Either performance is really important or cost is really important. And then how do you navigate that with the client? Making sure they're in the right product, because some people want more guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want low cost.
Mm-hmm. So in our initial conversations, like we'll get a like sense of like what the client goals are. I like to go by goals first to see how long they can be invested, and what approach to take in that sense. What's the best fit for them? That, and also like talking about risk and what they're comfortable with. Like what amount would you need to see on your statement as a negative percent, let's say for one given year, that would not allow you to sleep well at night. It's like kind of that stuff where everybody's different. There's not like one size fits all, like you said.
Yeah.
And once you really get to know your client and know what they're comfortable with and what kind of risk they want to take, then you can, find the right solution for them, and not like performance based first.
Do you think like there's obviously different products, but with so much emphasis being placed on fees, do you think segregated funds are under a lot of pressure, or is there actually people who are that these really fit well for?
Mm-hmm. I think there's definitely a place for segregated funds, and it makes sense for a lot of people. I think that maybe a lot of people who are in segregated funds don't fully understand what they are, and that's where there might be a disconnect.
Who's the best fit, you think?
The best fit is for either a retiree, someone who's doing more a little bit of an estate plan, or the investor that needs to have like that absolute guarantee that if they were to pass, then they would still be able to leave the same amount of money they put in behind to their children. Like that's super important for a lot of people who are coming from the banks, from the GIC world.
Right.
They need to know that a portion of it's guaranteed. Just psychologically for them to be able to invest. So another of my clients I've been working with since I started, she's a lady in her late 60s, and she was a traditional GIC investor, dealt at the bank. That bank is what she knew. That's all she dealt with, and she could not mentally, psychologically, like afford to take any risk in a sense. So what seg funds did for her was able to put her in more traditional portfolios and allow her, like, as reviewing her portfolio again, she like doubled her money. So I'm like, that's crazy to think that just because she has the peace of mind of knowing that it's guaranteed at like 100% guaranteed at death, that she was willing to take that risk. And we all know that you have another 10, 20 years for it to compound. Like you're not going to be even close to that, needing that guarantee at the end of the day. But for some people, they need that to hear that it's guaranteed in order to take that risk.
Right. And then what about low cost stuff, Corey? Like, where do you see that going in the next 5, 10 years?
I think it's a race to zero. I think there's going to be significant margin compression. This total cost reporting for the listeners, understanding what things are costing and can I get better value or better pricing is going to become a regular conversation. So you're seeing companies that are offering ETFs like at 9 basis points,
Right.
10 basis points. 5 years ago, you couldn't find that anywhere. At best you'd find 0.75, 0.8, so it's really become, at the forefront of conversation in terms of, what is the appropriate fees that are out there. In our current models that we're running right now, like everything we're running is 1.7 all in, all in with everything. And so when you're looking at what things are costing on the street, like it doesn't sound like like much, but to change your costs from 2% all in to 1.7, 1.6, like you're talking 30-40% reduction in your costs, and you change that and push that out over an extended period of time, you're talking about a lot of money that's been left on the table, right? And so this is going
For the client, like this is client savings.
this is client savings. This is imagine saving 30% a year on your fee structure that you're able to then reinvest, right? We've all heard a million times about fee compression and what that does to somebody's account. Like we see it, it's real, and so we've definitely prided ourselves on on what we've built and revamping and being tactical with our models and making sure they can withstand the test of time, the abuse, the Trump craziness that goes on with the stock market and
every day.
Every day, right? And so we've tried to build something that is priced appropriately, that the client is rewarded, that we are rewarded, and people are not left scratching their heads wondering what is going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And like one thing I really like about those portfolios specifically is how well they do like in downturn markets as well. Like their risk mitigation in those portfolios like is so much more important than people think. It's easy to say like, oh, I just need an ETF and I'm saving on fees. But if you have no strategy and the markets dip and like when the markets dip, what are you gonna do then? What's your strategy then? How are you doing to mitigate that risk? You need to mitigate that risk, and that's where we come in. And like those portfolios do a great job at that.
Yep. Agreed. That's where I think the message gets lost a little bit. Is like people always like, well, did it outperform the market? And it's like, outperform the market, like. It's like you've missed the whole. It's like you've missed the whole methodology here. It's like you want a good portfolio manager to do well consistently, not just outdo the market on, let's say, a 3-year return. It's like that's fine. If market's on fire, great. But let's say we get around that corner and the market just drops off. I want my portfolio manager to save me from dropping off that cliff. So it's like how much should that portfolio? Not only is it outperformance, it's like hold the line, like we win by not losing. So that's what I want, right? So
and people lose sight of that because if we have a shitty year, and you're down 15%, well, the next year you got to do 30 to get back to where you were, right? And so if we can avoid or diminish that, when there is a big downturn, that we keep you slightly positive,
just slightly, a 5% difference,
slightly positive to flat in a correction-based market, like you're winning.
Yeah.
You're winning every time because when the market bounces back, you're going to be fine, right? And, for a lot of people right now, over the last 5 years, if you take out 2022, which was a negative year for basically the entire marketplace, people have earned somewhere between 75 and 100% in their portfolios that are only built to generate somewhere between 6 and 10%. And so I think when the correction happens, and I'm not a doomsdayer at this point or anything of the sort, but when the correction does happen, we know because we're diversified, because we have different sleeves, different sectors in our lineup, we're going to withstand some abuse here because the abuse will happen. It's just, how do we weather the storm?
Absolutely.
hopefully you have a good coach on the other side to say, hey, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Life's going to be fine here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll rant one little piece on it. You know, if you look at the S&P 500, and it's the only thing you've owned, right? Which you shouldn't, but you know, there's lots that only own the S&P 500. From 1929 to today, it's done an average return of 10%. If you were to overlay that with the average investor from 1929 to today, they've done 2.5. And the answer is because of what you talked about earlier, and it's behavior.
Mm-hmm.
The buying and selling, the selling at the wrong time, the selling, oh, the market's so high, it's never going to go any higher. It's all that stuff is bullshit. It's irrelevant, right? Because we don't have any periods of time longer than 24 months since the coming of Christ where the market hasn't turned around. It just
Or whatever, or whoever you actually put prey to.
It could be that too.
Like,
See, we have some issues with HR within the company, and mostly it's my problems. But no,
No, you're absolutely right, and I'm not sure what the exact number is, but I remember like it's something about like, you know, investors who do have an advisor do like better off like what is like 4 to 6% more on average, just because of, you know, the advice during those turbulent times. It's crazy.
And that number, right? That differential, that value of advice number, if it is, you know, somewhere between 3 and 4%, what does that look like over 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big nut.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's we see it all the time, right? It's even like when gold was rushing up the last 24 months. We weren't getting all the calls 4 years ago. Like we should have been flooded by calls saying, you know what, gold is a discount right now. I want to buy gold.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen. People start calling, like literally call after call after call 6 months ago when gold's at this all-time peak.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want gold. I want to be like, that's the behavior that we have because we see results and we think that's going to continue to happen. And it's not the way it works. I mean, sometimes it does for a little bit, but we've seen this over and over again, whether it's gold or pot stocks or, you know, crypto or like it just insert your flavor of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Well, it's been nothing but a pleasure to have you on the show today, Pascal, and it's we're really happy that you decided to join us, and it's been a great ride, and we look forward to you being with us for many, many years to come. And thank you for trusting in us and the team, and thank you for trusting us enough to bring your clients along for the ride.
Yeah, extremely successful in business and life, and I agree. Well done, Pascal. Nice to have you on today.
Oh, thank you, boys. Thank you for having me. It was probably a little bit overdue, and I'm looking forward to do this again.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks again. Oh, wait, last thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where would someone find you? If you've listened to you today, watched, and they want to reach out, you're going to be on socials. You're going to be on our company site. But where else can they connect with you?
Mostly the company site. I'm not like a huge social guy, so probably just the Ecivda.com. Can find all my contact information on there, and feel free to reach out.
Right on. Thanks again, Paskal.
Thanks, guys.